Do you know the most perfect con your mind has ever pulled? Making you believe that the voice in your head is you. I spent decades paying the price for that lie. Years of waking up already defeated, where every decision became an internal battlefield, where mental peace was a rumor others seemed to know, but one that slipped through my fingers like water. Years of a dull anxiety, of that soul-deep fatigue that sleep can't cure, of feeling like I was losing sovereignty over my own mental territory. Until a brutally simple discovery, almost laughably obvious once you see it, taught me everything. Today, I'm not just revealing my trench to you. I'm showing you how to see the seams of the forgery in real time. If you've ever felt your mind is your prison, stay. This isn't self-help. This is an act of liberation. Or as I call it, the user manual your brain forgot to include. Since I was a child, my mind was a radio with no mute button. I was the philosopher kid, always lost in an internal labyrinth. At recess, while others played soccer, I analyzed the unwritten rules of the playground. At family dinners, while everyone laughed, I was mapping the tensions under the table. My environment didn't get it. They told me, "Stop overthinking things." My friends joked, "You're in another dimension," they said. I was the weird one, and the worst part is, I fully bought into that character and everything that came with it. So I surrendered. I assumed that was my sentence, a perpetual war against your own soldiers shooting you in the back, an army that, mutinies every time you have to make a simple decision like what to have for dinner. I buried myself in psychology books, devouring the great masters. I sought answers in philosophy, in the Stoics, in Zen. I explored spirituality, meditation. Each discipline gave me fragments of the map, but none gave me the compass. It was like having a prisoner in the basement of my consciousness, pounding the wall with a question that never found an answer. Until, on one of my darkest nights, with my mind spinning like a turbine at 3 a.m., completely exhausted but unable to shut down. A phrase from a book I'd read long ago struck me like lightning. Observe the voice, and realize that you are not that voice. In that instant, something shifted. I understood the meaning of the phrase. I did a mental experiment I invite you to do right now. Don't think of a pink elephant. What happened? It appeared on your mental screen, right? Maybe you even saw it, with its trunk and its absurd color. That thought arrived on its own. You didn't summon it. You didn't build it brick by brick. It just materialized. You see, your mind receives the order, "Do not think of X," and interprets it as, "Think of X but urgently." It's the most literal employee that exists, and it works 24/7. This is how our minds operate all the time. Thoughts, memories, worries, images, emerging spontaneously, without our conscious permission. That night, I grasped something that transmuted everything. If I hadn't manufactured that pink elephant thought, if it had arrived without my authorization, then how could it be me? It was like waking from a 20-year dream. It wasn't mystical. It wasn't enlightenment. It was pure logic applied to my direct experience. The weight of guilt, the constant anxiety, the ruthless self-criticism began to peel away. Not because the thoughts magically disappeared, but because I had stopped signing them as their author. I had discovered I could be the witness, not the hostage. This isn't just a powerful anecdote or a philosophical concept. Modern science corroborates it in compelling ways. A Harvard study revealed that we spend almost 50% of our waking hours on mental autopilot, lost in thoughts about the past or the future. Nearly half our lives unfold in a simulation. Neuroscience tells us we generate between 60,000 and 70,000 thoughts a day. But the game-changing data is this: approximately 90% are repetitive. They're the same as yesterday, and the day before, and last year. Basically, your mind is like that aunt who tells the same story at every family reunion, but instead of once a year, it's 60,000 times a day. You're not broken. It's that your mind functions exactly as it was evolutionarily programmed. It's a thought factory, a threat detection machine, designed to plan and analyze patterns. The ultimate metaphor is this: your mind is like a television that never turns off. It constantly broadcasts programs, catastrophic news, repetitive dramas, absurd comedies, documentaries of the past. You are not the programs on the screen. You are not that harsh critic, that catastrophizer, that obsessive narrator. You are the awareness that is watching the television. That space of pure attention, of silent observation, that is the territory no one tells you about. The space between you and your thoughts. And there, in that recognition, lives your radical freedom. You don't need to change the programs. You just need to remember that you are the spectator. Let's take this to the mud of real life, to situations we've all lived. For example, you're giving a crucial presentation at work. You prepared thoroughly. You felt confident. But during your talk, you see your boss frown with a serious expression. And without warning, automatically, the forged voice sounds. You blew it. He's disappointed. Your career here is over. The old version of me, the one who believed every thought, would have instantly gotten tangled in the drama. I would have wasted the rest of the day with a knot in my stomach, mentally dissecting every slide, every word. I would have interpreted every glance from my colleagues as confirmation of my failure. I would have come home exhausted, irritable, carrying this mental burden that stole my peace. All this suffering, based on a single automatic thought. The new version, the one who understands the nature of thoughts, handles the situation in a revolutionary way. When the "I failed" thought arises, he recognizes it for what it is, a product of the mental factory. He doesn't fight it, doesn't repress it, but he doesn't identify with it either. Mentally, he might declare, "Ah, interesting. There's the 'I failed' program again. Hello, I see you. Did you bring popcorn, or are you just here to criticize?" And the alchemy occurs. Peace returns. This isn't toxic positivity. It's not denying reality. It's simply not believing the script your mind presents you. It's remembering that your thoughts are like clouds in the sky of your awareness. Sometimes they are dark, stormy clouds, thoughts of fear, anxiety, guilt. Other times they are white and fluffy, happy, hopeful thoughts. But all of them, without exception, are transient. They come, they change, and they go. You are the sky, vast, calm, always present. The sky is not affected by the clouds passing through it. A storm cloud doesn't harm the sky. The sky simply is, beyond whatever happens on its surface. That nuclear understanding, that shift in identity, is the heart of what I call mental alchemy. Transmuting our relationship with our internal experience, converting the lead of fusion with mental noise into the gold of inner peace. This channel exists to explore that territory together, not from abstract theory, but from the trenches of real life. Without magic formulas, without empty promises. I don't present myself as a guru who has all the answers. On the contrary, I am a trench companion who has fallen, gotten lost, had moments of doubt and confusion, but who has found weapons and maps that made a tangible difference on his battlefield. If what you've heard today resonated within you, if something in your being said, "Yes, this is real," then your first act of alchemy is this. Today, pick any moment. It could be in traffic, in the supermarket line, or simply when you're resting. And every time you detect that voice in your head, especially when it's critical or catastrophic, I want you to execute the Lie Detector Protocol. Instead of automatically fusing with the thought's content, take a moment to identify it for what it is, a factory product. Silently, to yourself, you can declare, "This isn't me, it's just a program running." You don't need to believe it. You don't need to fight it. Just acknowledge it and let it pass, like you'd let a commercial pass on TV. And then, if you feel ready, I'd love for you to take the next step in building this headquarters. In the comments, share. What is the thought, the forgery, that your mind most frequently presents to you? Is it, "I'm not enough"? "I'm going to fail"? "No one really loves me"? "I'm a fraud"? The simple act of writing it down, of pulling it out from the shadows of your mind and into the light, has incredible alchemical power. And by doing so, you not only free yourself from some of its weight, but you allow others to feel less alone in their trenches. Subscribe to Mental Alchemy if this message resonated with you. Together, we can learn to be masters of our attention, or at least to not believe everything that internal announcer says, especially when he seems drunk. Because that voice in your head can talk, it can shout, it can complain, it can doubt. But today, I want you to remember the fundamental truth. You are bigger than it. You are the awareness that contains it, the immense space in which it appears. And in that recognition lives a peace that no mental storm can touch. Welcome to Mental Alchemy, the crucible where we forge your inner freedom.